All right, we have a guest who is Farhana Piri from the EVA Suite. She is going to be talking to us about how to get your first remote job. If you do recall, we spoke to Farhana Piri about 2 or 3 weeks back about how the remote work or remote jobs are replacing traditional jobs, and we can see it for ourselves. We are seeing the trends, the global trends that are happening. 9 to 5 is slowly dying, and how do you navigate this new world of remote work? How do you do that, of virtual work? And we spoke about some of the challenges, some of the rewards, and my personal favorite was the ability to do your work anywhere in the world. Okay, I find that nice. You don't have to report to the office, you don't have to be there physically, you can be there virtually. Okay, and some of the challenges, which are true, is that you get to, if you're going to be working from home and you haven't yet secured a good clientele base, so you're now having to just work from home and seeing the same four corners over and over and over again. And some of the other challenges was the fact that you need to know how to navigate through this industry, and that's why we have Farhana here. Farhana, first and foremost, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Super excited for this opportunity and to be on air again. I am fine, alhamdulillah, and how are you?
I am fantastic, thank you so much. Now let's jump right into the interview. Right, so I have set up my profile, I've done the interviews, I have been accepted to this virtual world, and now I'm wondering, where to from here? How do I get my first remote job, first of all? The interview process, that's after getting the job, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're actually going to get the job. Yes. You're in the process of getting the job. You're getting to be interviewed and accepted to do the job. For me, I want to start by asking, once you have done the interview, what then?
Okay. So it really depends, because different agencies have different processes on onboarding and getting you to actually pair you up with a client. So it's really not the same. But in most cases, I would say that after the interview, you have to just wait at that point and see what response you get from whether it's the agency or the client. They either like you or they don't like you. Unfortunately, if they don't like you, you won't hear a response. And if they do, then they will walk you through the entire process of onboarding. Other agencies do provide equipment, so you might receive that, and then just sort of the whole onboarding process, which is getting access to maybe the tools that the client uses and so forth.
Okay, that's me, Ramazani, liking to start in the middle before we start from the beginning. Now let's go back to the beginning. All right, how does one land an interview? What are the processes if somebody is interested in the virtual work space or the virtual jobs? How do they begin, basically?
Okay, for starters, I would advise that you make sure that your CV is ATS friendly. You do get people that don't have the skills necessarily, because maybe, for instance, it's your first time working virtually. So then you have to train yourself, familiarize yourself with tools that's very common in the remote space, and then once that is done, you make sure that your CV is ATS friendly, and then you actually apply. I would suggest that instead of getting direct clients, you apply to agencies, and they are the ones that do most of the hard work and the hard labor.
I agree with the idea of agencies, especially if it's your first time. Some people disagree. They feel like, you know what, you shouldn't have a middleman. You should just begin. But it's important when you don't know this industry and it's your first time, like I said, to have some sort of support. It comes in handy. Now, for people that are interested in starting the virtual workspace and entering into the virtual workspace, and they feel that there is no need for an agency, what advice do you have for them? Where should they begin?
Okay, I would say that it's quite challenging, only because you don't know how to go about getting the direct clients. I myself still struggle to get direct clients. So I would say that maybe go into like Facebook groups, virtual assistant groups. You do find clients that looking for your services. And then also you could actually reach out. I would say this is one of the most toughest, hardest, most horrible things of reaching out. You reach out to clients directly, most preferably using a LinkedIn. That's where you get like a high response compared to like cold emailing. You think that because they stay in the emails, then you get a response. That's actually not the case. So just reach out via LinkedIn. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized fully, and then send out like the most personalized message so that it doesn't look generic.
I love that you mentioned generic there, because we are in the times of AI. So we all have, situations where we're like, AI, just give me something to respond back to this message, without having to double check, without having to humanize it. And sometimes that can affect the kind of connections that we build with people, because it feels disconnected. Like you said, it feels generic. It's not personalized to that individual or that topic that they have or you're having. Now, for someone who has been into the workspace and realized the virtual workspace and realized that I cannot keep waiting for a client, I cannot keep waiting for the next interview for somebody to approve me, I need to be doing something on the side while waiting. I know with the traditional jobs, you can have a job like now I'm a radio presenter, but I also have other things that I do on the side. It buys me time. It provides me with that opportunity and privilege to play around. With the virtual workspace, is it possible to have something else on the side, or does that mean that you just have to wait?
Okay, good question. You can. It's like definitely you can do other things on the side. However, I would suggest that you don't make it known to the client. If there's one thing I noticed is that they like to sort of like gatekeep you and make sure that you focus on them and them only.
Yeah, they feel entitled to
exactly. So I would suggest that you do continue doing whatever it is on the side. You could even apply to like various companies all at once.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, so you don't have to just stick to one. You can open yourself to the different possibilities out there.
100%. I actually currently have 3 clients, and none of them know that I have them. So,
Okay, girl, playing with a football game there. Okay, that's nice. As long as you're juggling them well, and there's no clashing of times and deadlines, then all the best. All right, now let's talk about you and your journey. You shared some time back that this was due to the frustration that you experienced of being unemployed for some time, and the job that you did, you weren't happy with it, so you felt, I need to go out there and see what the world has for me. Now, what are some of the most common virtual jobs? I know people talk about online teaching. There's also a virtual assistant. Not many are informed about what a virtual assistant does or what is it entail to. Can you maybe touch on that and tell us a few more if you know of?
Sure, no problem. Okay, so in terms of like virtual assistants, there's like different industries that you can get into. You could be like an HR assistant and you just focus on like HR duties. And then on the side, you could just be supporting like an individual and so on. I would say that there are other roles like maybe customer support roles. There are like help desk roles, anything like in tech. And I feel like for the most part, most of like your traditional roles can be sort of like converted and transferred into remote roles.
I absolutely love that you told us that. So it's pretty much like virtual jobs, but it's just that you are not doing a position. You are now playing a role. Okay, so like here we are obsessed with titles. I want to be the manager, I want to be the this, and I want to be the that. But when it comes to skills, we don't have so much of that. Now with the virtual space, in my opinion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel you need to have a certain skill set that is in demand for you to qualify for a role. It's not necessarily about the qualification. Am I correct?
Yes, 100%.
All right, fantastic. Now, Farhana, because we are out of time, I want to ask you one question and then I want to give you the mic again to close off or with any closing statement. The question I want to ask you is the figures. Talk to us about that. That's what we like. Okay, don't disclose the actual amount, but plus minus. Are we happy? Are you happy? Is it something that you would encourage people to try?
Let's see. I'm actually not shy to give an estimate of how much I'm making.
Okay.
But I would definitely say that this is a space that you can definitely get into, especially if you want to level up in terms financially. I, for one, am experiencing financial freedom, so I absolutely love my life.
Financial freedom.
So yeah, and as maybe for someone that has no experience and is getting into the remote space, you can expect nothing less than 16,000 rands.
A startup.
Yes, startup.
Not bad. For
Not bad at all. And you could, again, depending on which agency you go with, some agencies are greedy, so they want to get more money. But you could be earning anything between 30,000 rands per month.
Okay, so are you in that range or are you above that? Just let me know if I'm dealing with the right person. I need help, yeah.
I mean, I do have more than 3
clients.
clients.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's all. That's all. That's all we needed to hear. We are above the 30. Okay, we are good. Thank you so much for that. Now, Farhana, quickly, what is your closing remark?
Right. I would say one advice that I do have is that one, it's not a get rich quick scheme. So you definitely have to put in the effort. You definitely have to try to maintain the clients. Not easy, but you can do it, and you definitely have to get started as soon as possible. And then also another tip I would say is that this is just a reminder that the world is evil, or they're more harsh to a broke person. So get the bag.
Ma'am, clock that. The world is less friendly to a broke person. In Farhana's words, it is harsh. Okay, so get that bag. That is where we shall wrap it up. Jazakallah khair so much for everybody that is listening, that was sending in the messages. We absolutely want to thank you for taking the time, that was watching us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for making the show what it is. Until then, we say to you, find your purpose and leave your mark. That is Tobeka right there trying to tell me, Kelly, please, we are done. Just wrap it up and go. Okay, I'm going, Tobeka. Thank you so much. To you too. Bye.